today we are going to take a look at some Zed gameplay. I have a Zed Mid Lane gameplay and a Zed Jungle gameplay from the Chinese server. As per usual, you'll see runes and everything you need to know on your screen, so no worries about anything when it comes to just learning how to play this game. I'll even boot up the Epic Pen here for a second so I can make sure to visualize everything you're seeing with some extra help. So let's start here. He's playing against a Lux. Lux theoretically doesn't really have a chance against this champion, but as you see in the early stages of the game, he's trying to bait out the Lux third ability and hopes that she goes for minions with it. He wants to have the wave a little bit closer to him, because without having the wave close to him, he can't really go for an all-in, and he doesn't want to overextend going for minions because this is too much of a risk. Because if he goes too far forward here, he might get attacked from these sides, and he doesn't really want that. His biggest lifeline spell is this here, allowing him to go for specific traits or just damage, but if he has to use it while already overextended up here, he's at risk of dying. However, if he's like below this line here, he can then easily use it for poke damage. So he's just spending his time baiting out the enemy's mana pool to allow himself to then go for proactive traits. Being bound here doesn't really matter too much. The Lux is getting closer and closer to being out of mana. So now the Lux is in actual death range. Now both have to pick up fruit soon. And without the fruit, Lux isn't able to play. So now we have a potential kill window in these seconds. Like in 3 seconds there's a kill window. If the Lux walks up, she might die unless she has bone plating. Look at the combo, decent damage. She'll probably flash after if she goes too close, because he does just so much damage. Also, you should never forget about Zed being able to have this execute bonus damage once the enemy is too low. I think it's called Call the Weak. I think so. Like, look, this is something you should never do. Lux was already in kill range before, but apparently she didn't know, now walked up and got killed. And on level 5, this entire matchup flips as well. Like, having access or gaining access to this ultimate will allow the Zed to avoid every single Lux spell. Every single Lux spell is a linear skill shot. So Zed has now 2 tools to avoid this. And with this, Lux fundamentally cannot function anymore into Zed. The Lux will be farmed even if she's here or here. It doesn't matter. If the Zed avoids the binding, the Lux will die. So yeah, he's walking forward, holding his second ability just in case he uses her binding, and if that happens, he's instantly on her and kills her. Look. Maybe he's respecting potential jungle gank here, but again, the Lux is constantly in kill range, and it's such a risk to be a Lux into a Zed. Look at him, he just... Look at the overkill damage she just had. Which means she was in kill range the entirety of the time because her HP bar didn't really move. So it's insanity for a Lux player to even move up remotely close. Nice combo jumping backwards. Talon now goes in with the ultimate ability. Probably doesn't even... Did he proc the bleeding? It didn't look like it, but I think he did. But I don't think he went base. I hope he just opens the shop to make us see if Talon bought items. Sadly we don't see. I mean, if I find some Katarina thing, certainly. Yeah, like look, the Talon didn't have items. If the Talon had items, the Zed dies there. And look, this was only the combo. Nice dodge with the second ability running after the Lux. Probably, yeah. Do you see how much damage he does and what little Lux can do about this? There's just not much she can even hope to accomplish. And now she goes close to the wave, gets at least a minion, and every single minion she goes for now on this next wave, it's a death sentence. Because the moment his shadow comes up again, it will be a kill again. Now she used his binding, now he can just walk up. Lux walked up again, that is something... Okay, like, Lux uses binding, and if there's one lifeline you have as a Lux against a Zed, it's your binding. If you use it, you will always be all in and instantly killed. And on the flip side, if you're playing the Zed, you're just waiting for the binding to come out because you have multiple tools to avoid it. Then you jump close to the Lux, who can't really defend herself against you, and then you just instantly kill her and farm yourself, fed with her. It's just so... there are such rules that are so important. Getting bound here, but it will not kill him. Ooh, jumps back, flashes over, but now is being chased on by the Talon. Now probably falls to the Talon. Yep, actually does fall to the Talon. But I think it's also kind of nuts how much damage Lux does, given that she had boots and an M-Tomb. She nearly one-hit him. And I find it always so insane to see that this Lux champion is continuously avoiding any type of nerf and just got so much, like, it got insanely simplified. Ooh, this is not a good look. They lost the dragon and the fight. At least the Lux dies now again. Ooh, the binding connects, but it doesn't matter because Zed has too much damage. You mean the Void Red and Blue buff that is gifted to everyone on the map? I think eventually we will actually receive this. I think we will receive the evolved versions, the Void versions, eventually at least. Because they're always trying, like, imagine WildRift is the testing zone usually for PC stuff. At least it felt like this for a long time. So with them pushing this Void thing to the PC version, I believe it's just a matter of time until we get it. Like, it took them a lot of time to make sure that they got the Elemental Rift right, and as of right now, like, dragons don't really contribute anything. And I think we technically just need to rework on that one as well, because Herald is just so overbearingly powerful that there needs to be something done about this. No, there's not really a difference. The only thing that changes is if you hit Master, like, let's just call this Diamond and this Master, unless you play duo queue, you can only match within this range here, which is then GM, Chell, Soph. And Diamond can match with the lower elos. But if you play duo, you are then able to play into the higher elos as well. And realistically speaking, there's not really a big difference between the players or the games in general. It's all the same. It's just mostly the amount of, ooh, nice play, baiting back the Lux to the minion wave and jumping back to the shadow, making the Lux think that he's picking up the fruit and just goes back instantly and kills them. Coming back to the idea, it's just a matter of, like, how many games you want to put in. That's the biggest thing. Like, how many games do you want to play to climb? For example, climbing from Emerald to Master, then from Emerald to Challenger, and then from Challenger to Sovereign. Like, to Sovereign, it will take a lot of games. And you play the same games, ooh, nice combo here, avoiding. The Talon turns around and gets a quick little kill pickup, and the Draven misses the ultimate. Jumps back here, but look at the movement he has. Just goes in for a little trade, a little love tap, and just pieces out instantly again. And the moment you hit, again, Mastered here, you basically play the same games, or similar games, that you play in Sovereign. Or at least like, for my part, it was always the same. Like, there was no difference in game quality or anything. It was all the same. And it felt all the same. And it was really, really boring most of the times. But generally speaking, you should play, and if you enjoy the game, basically, because otherwise, like, if you just grind for LP, is that really fun? Do you enjoy this? Like, or generally, like, people watching this as a VOD or live or anything, do you genuinely have fun just grinding for LP? Like, just seeing the +1? Or is there anything else that you just feel brings you joy? For me, for example, it's the smoothness of the game. Like, playing it, moving my character, having the cool things, like cool combos you can do that many people don't do. All of these things combined make it satisfying to play as a game. What makes it less satisfying is having the +1, -1, but being victim of unfair matchmaking. Or suffering from a terrible lack of players. What is this transition here? And yeah, like if you having fun equals making sick plays, then that's a valid point. Obviously there's a cutoff where you can't just only go for sick plays because you will automatically lose, and you have to keep that one in mind. And here the Zed just showcases good awareness around and just going for the right target, playing it very reserved. And this talent actually died. It didn't even look like he died. Let's put it this way. If you don't perform well, it takes you a lot of games, but I don't think it's possible to not climb if you just put in the games. But again, I might be very much biased with this assessment. Like, very much biased. Ooh, what a nice... Oh, he just avoids the combo by the Lux with the laser. Says, nope, not today. Oh, this is some of the most frustrating things. And if you can relate, you're just more than free to tell me, because if you see the amount of mobility Zed has, and the moment you're like slightly fed, how easy it feels to play, like, or at least to kill people, it's so annoying to deal. Because what do you do against this? He doesn't even have his ultimate on the maximum level, and it will only get worse from this point on. And then you can just trade his ultimate for an instant stasis on enemy and then just chill for a few seconds and do the same thing again. And if he has blue buff, it gets even worse. Kennen goes in with an ultimate here. He goes for the enemy Nami. Nami just disappears into the next game almost instantly. 2 people down. Enemy has to retreat now. He leaves the shadow for vision just in case somebody goes back there. He just wants to swap back. Just take a good look how he's doing it. Panning the camera up there just to make sure everything is going well. But there's one issue right now happening. This here, but it should be okay. The enemy is a little bit delayed, but they take Baron relatively slowly, even though it's a very early Baron. And the Talon even might be able to get here. Talon actually gets here, and they have to forfeit the Baron, and the Talon kills them, kills at least 2. The ultimate is finally enough to kill him with the Collector proc as well. But now he has to escape. He got crit 2 times by the Draven. The depression has a name, and it's crit chance on Draven. Also, quick little thing here. If an enemy has Crown of the Shattered Queen, yeah, and you're like Draven, don't use an ability, don't use your third ability or ult, just auto-attack them. With your axes and with your second ability, like the attack speed steroid. To be smooth with Zed, I 100% agree. This is one of the things that why it's hard to carry a game as a Zed. But if we just look at things at face value, as in how to kill one person, to kill a person is very easy. And I made the same example with Akali. Like, killing people is very easy with these champions, but carrying games is much more difficult. Because usually if you play bad or just mash buttons, you kill one but you die instantly. And if you are the one that dies early in a fight, your team is obviously not in a very good spot. Because we think of you as a carry here. And many of you might not know, blue buff is very powerful on energy-based champions, because they gain much more regeneration for the energy. Picking up the stasis now. Yone is going for the consistent, like, Yone as a champion. It's so annoying to face him if he's constantly able to go for his Q-stack shenanigans and then run after you from jungle with this shadow or his what is it called again? Spirit Unleashed, I think. Looking for an angle here, one of the most important assets of an assassin. Finding angles where you can flank from, so you should most definitely swap to sweeper sooner than later. Because that way he'll be able to actually get the jump onto the enemy. I think it requires you, again, to kill a person, you can just mash buttons, but to survive and carry games, it's much more complex. You have to be mentally aware about your position, especially of the position of shadows, and if you're not, you just be very inefficient. And here they're just trapping for the dragon. Somebody is gonna face check for no reason. Okay, as an example, yeah, let's pause for a second. The Lux didn't see anyone. Like, she threw an E in here earlier, and then she just walked up here for here. There's no reason to do so. If you see that they're not on this, then nothing matters. Like, it doesn't matter if they're here, here, or here. If you know for a fact they're not on the dragon, then nothing of this matters. You don't need to know where they are. You just need to know where they're not. And in fact, they were not here. And then as a consequence, it doesn't matter what's in here because you already know they're not where you thought they would be, and which is the only relevant position they might be in. Now Cannon goes in for a big play, uses stasis, he doesn't have Shadow to go in, Lulu ults him as well, Talon jumps in from the side, gets ulted by the Zed, and he'll probably get instantly killed. Ooh, avoids certain death. Yeah, but still dies to the Collector proc. And thanks, Soul Unbound. My bad. But yeah, like, this is something that many people do, and it's just like right now in the downtime, let's just use this. Like, if you know enemies are here and this is up, you don't need to walk there. You know that they were there, so they can't magically teleport somewhere else. And again, the Nami is face checking this area for no reason. Like, she has no business doing this because there's nothing to achieve. Baron isn't available, she can get killed by anyone she face checks, so she needs somebody to walk in for her to then basically allow her to gain vision. Anything else is just too much of a risk you would take, and you would gain nothing. Yone is very unique in the way he can be played, but Yone is also one of these champions that have been changed or like put in a spot where you can just mash buttons the moment you have certain items, which is one of the biggest issues, I believe. Yeah, the E is very nice. Oh, nice. Did you see how he just dodged this combo? And now there's a fight happening mid lane, they're winning, so now this should be a free Nasher. Like, none of the kills matter anymore, but they still keep on going, and now they die magically. Zed is waiting for an opportunity to go for the Nami, but he doesn't have ultimate, so he can't really go for the backline, so he has to be very patient. Lucian walks up and gets blown up for no reason. Again, all of these things don't really matter, they just don't really make too much sense. At least he gets a free kill pickup onto the Lux. Like, again, the Lux knew where he was. Like, she had a mental note where she was. Where he was, and he still walks up. How so? For the Yone mashing button part? The moment you hit 3 items on Yone, you can just smash any button you want and you'll kill people. Because the time you deal damage in is like, it's so quick, you deal damage so quick that the enemy, unless you get into a team that instantly CCs you, will die before you die. That's my perception. But that's just the skill floor of a champion. I'm just talking about the skill floor. Obviously there's a big ceiling that can be done, or can be improved towards to. And it's technically something that they're pushing over and over again, because they want to make the game as easy as possible. And what do you do to make the game easier? You give everyone 50 billion damage, so they can one-shot each other. So tactics, strategy, all of these things matter less and less. Because if you just one-shot people, it's just a deathmatch situation. And often people, if they're not faced with strategy, just get so absorbed in the idea of just running around and doing things because nobody punishes them, like the Kale shenanigans, like nobody punishes a Kale player in jungle. Or the team refuses to do so for whatever reason. And then yeah, you reach interesting game points where it's just button mashing, like it's just button mashing. Buy the Vine. I mean, the Vine in a combo is a lot of extra sustain and just being tankier. Trinity Force would obviously deal more damage, but the Vine provides a bigger lifeline, HP wise. And look how the Yone always comes from Fog of War with his Q3 stacked. Instantly goes back here, the Yone probably survives actually. Now this is in a very interesting spot because, ooh, nice combo by the cannon stunning the talent to not die instantly to him, but now the Draven is walking after him. The Zed needs to be careful, like if he sees the Draven without ultimate, he might just die. Now the enemy team might commit to a very, very bad mistake if they go for this, this Baron. Yeah, he just misclicked. He just misclicked. That is a heartbreaker. And the thing with those invades is, these invades are rarely even doing anything, because they're not capitalizing on them, like, completely. Invading in WildRift, ooh, like look at the cooldown on his ultimate, it's so low, you can just go for a play over and over and over again, and the Yone nearly dies. He goes for a flash, runs after him, has to now step away, walks into the Draven and gets one-tapped. 1093 damage with an auto attack. Goodbye. Just generally about jungling. Understanding how to invade, because if you invade, you obviously want to make sure that you pay attention to the respawn timers here. And then when you know that they respawn, you want to go back there and capitalize on these advantages, because you know, as the enemy has a natural interest of farming gold, you want to be there to kill them, plus deny their gold income, so you get like a double positive. If you just go in there to deny one camp, and do nothing with it at all, what's the point? Because then it barely does anything for you. You might even put yourself behind in the current scheme of things because you can't find the reset timer, whereas the enemy is resetting, has an item advantage over you because you weren't able to spend your gold, and then the entire early pressure you just put onto the game is thrown away. And hello. The Aatrox stole the Elder Dragon. Like, they knew they cannot fight this. Like, the Zed didn't go. And Delusion also didn't go, obviously. Ooh, did you see the damage of the talent? Like, just the collateral damage that were inflicted. Such a crazy amount of damage. He has to walk away from the Draven. Look at this menacing guy. But Meteor is such an interesting pickup. If it's really about the accidentally clicking stasis, it would be too funny. I mean, he clicked it in the wrong way a few times. Yeah. Oh, and another thing about Zed. If you face check brushes. Oh, pops the crown, that's very, very important. If you face check in the late game, ooh, nice jumping here, going instantly away, this probably will kill him. The Draven is forced to stasis here. Nothing will come of this, but the... Will it kill her? No, the shield is enough, but now the cannon goes in, instantly kills her. Another one is being picked up, Aatrox picks up the next one, gets a reset, and everyone is falling. Now the Talon is the only one alive being revived by the Guardian Angel. Misses the spell here, but it doesn't matter, they instantly killed him. So now they can finish the game in top or mid lane. Again, quickly talking about what I want to talk. let's say you're this Zed and you have to face check this. As you walk closer to this, spam this button. If you have to face check in late game as a Zed or mid game, just spam your ultimate button in Fog or War, and the moment somebody reveals himself to CC you, you will avoid the CC and instantly ult them to avoid certain death. And with this, we are instantly moving over to the second gameplay, which we have, which is Zed Jungle. Look at the guy. He is smurfing. It's kind of rough colors, but yeah, well. But it's okay. The thing, like, if the Kayn is a, like, Kayn again is also, if we talk about this, let's talk about this for a second. Starting your first ability, even though it has a higher cooldown than this, is better in jungle because your third ability got nerfed for jungle camps, and just more helpful to jungle. You have to kind of start blue buff because otherwise you have no mana or not enough energy to clear, and you'll be severely delayed. As for Mr. Kayn is a champion that has a relatively low skill floor, but he also has a high skill ceiling. Getting a kill on Kayn is easy, because all you have to get is form, but the first difference starts with getting the form. When do you get the form? At what point? And how can you use it to your advantage? Like, for example, the creativity you can have with blue Kayn is very high, as you can check every single brush on the map, because as soon as you're in a wall and an enemy is in here, you see the orb up here. You know exactly what's going on. And you can also see over walls, so it's very difficult for a Kayn to ever get, what is it called? Trapped. Look at the nice transition he's going for in this jungle clear. And yeah, Zed is... I honestly think jungle might be his best position. Because for assassins it's always the easiest to play them in jungle, especially if they're melee. Because you get to clear, and people, especially on Europe, I don't know how it is for other servers, always choose to die for no reason. And now he, like, the enemy team should know that he's here. Nautilus should have known that he just needs to wait. And everything, like, every play usually is very, very linear. Most junglers will start this red buff up here, and then, or this croc camp, and then slowly path towards here. And let's say at 145, like 130, 145, 2 minutes, depending on the jungle they're playing, why would you make a play here? Because then you might get ganked and die, and then the game is basically over. So you can keep this in mind and play around this. And if your jungle is matching this, you just have to wait. Waiting as long as possible with the ultimate ability, doesn't want to use it. And probably is forced to use it. He really didn't want to. He thought the... Okay, he bled to death. He wanted the Darius to make sure to get the kill, so he keeps his ultimate, so he can go for another play. And now the enemy Fiddlesticks is trying to capitalize on all these plays on the other side by going for a more proactive play there. It's a grasp, Aatrox. What is this, my man? And now, like, remember, the Galio knows that the Zed was up there. And look what the Galio is doing. This was a choice by the Galio. And it's just so important, like, if you understand the law of people... Did you see the trick? He walked here and spammed this ability as he face checked. Ooh, nice smite by the Fiddlesticks surviving this. He picks up the red buff. Twisted Fate is not gonna come. But he used the trick I was just talking about, where he just ulted the brush just in case somebody is there. It's such a key play that is so underused. Talking about Kayn, like, you know, if you have Shimmering Spark and you go for, like, let's say you go for a full clear, you have Shimmering Spark and then your full clear was going to bot lane and then you're level 5 after Scuttle, and you go for like a suicide play, that suicide play, depending on how it's played and how well it goes, can net you the entirety of your blue form before even 2.5 minutes pass. And the gold you give away to the enemy bot lane will be completely irrelevant compared to the form you gain. And with the form you gain, you then take over the game because you can continuously get bot lane. Because nobody can stop you anymore. Because one of the most creative things you can do as a Kayn is constantly walk here in the wall, and wards are completely meaningless against you. Because you can always approach from this angle, and all you kind of need is your team to control what this or have a control on yourself, and then you just constantly walk in there and constantly go for plays and get them killed on cooldown. Nicely played by the Darius, setting up a potential kill here, ulting in, securing the kill, picking up the kill, getting 250 gold to the bank. The Galio ults in and nothing happens. But they need to be careful. I don't think we have seen the Fiddlesticks ult, so they can't just do the Herald for free. They have to be a little bit careful. They have to leash him out. Like, you do not want the Herald to be in there. You want the Herald to be at least out there. Because otherwise it's too much of a risk for the Fiddlesticks to just come in. Dealing good damage to the Fiddlesticks, putting him in low enough so he can't just mindlessly jump in. But he has to wait for a smite, I think. Fiddlestick still don't ult, and yeah. Now he's ulting over. Doesn't have smite, he has to wait, he can't hit the eye, he needs to wait. Now he waits for the eye, waits for the smite, collects this. Quick little jump around the corner, trying to go for a play here. But again, his team had no business going anywhere here. And if you're part of the team, what's the purpose of doing this? Going for a quick combo, like, he's not even trying to be greedy. He's very, very patient. He goes for a combo and then leaves again. And now the Fiddlestick still doesn't have ulti. And with him not having ulti, he can't really go. And therefore he can just be instantly killed. Look at the damage he has. Like, the Fiddlesticks can't really defend himself. Goes for a quick little kill, escapes the situation, has to flash over the wall because of the Lucian coming. And this dragon will be a free pickup. But I'm so confused. Why is the Darius here and giving free stuff for the enemy team? This is also something that keeps on happening and is so annoying to deal with. If you're a top laner and you go for dragon, is it really worth it? Because you give the enemy so much gold and you throw away your own lead to gain a dragon? And then it's Mountain Soul. Like, what is Mountain Soul gonna do for you? What is the Dragon Soul that, if maybe you get them, going to do for you? This Lucian is gonna die here because he's a little bit too greedy. Gets popped. Galio goes for a flash combo, but he actually kills him. Is this an AP Galio? It is. Man, it's a Giga Chat. The dragon propaganda is unbelievable. Yeah, that's why Zed has a very high skill ceiling. All of these champions like Akali, Zed, Talon, they have it all very easy to get a kill, but carrying with them is so much more difficult. I really wish people would resist the dragon propaganda. He just yoinked the scuttle crab. This man is an enjoyer of seafoods. He is not to be messed with. Finds the Fiddlesticks, jumps back instantly because the Galio is channeling the taunt and they just get a free pickup. Like, he knows that he needs to be fast and goes away. Like, he's baiting the enemy CC spell by just ulting in and jumping back instantly, which is something that provides his team with such a big advantage. Because let's just imagine you take away the entirety of the enemy's arsenal of CC, allowing your team to do whatever they want to do, for you just trading an ultimate which has barely any cooldown. He's even utilizing his shadow to provide him with vision to know if the Aatrox comes in a little bit earlier. And now he just has to wait for his ultimate to go for proactive play, and he just picks them all up. Jumps in, Darius gets 1 kill, he gets stunned, he got... Nah, look what happened. He got... Nah, look. I'll slow it down here. You see? The Pyke is now dead here, but you see this. His shadow is coming, and he put himself into the animation of ult. Look. It's like, now the Pyke thing is coming. He gets stunned, is now locked up, gets full comboed by everything, and dies because the Lucian crits. I don't think I have seen any Shen thing, and I have to stop after this. But did you see the tragedy? The death hook. The hook of death. The certain demise came for him. But if you happen to find a Chinese Shen gameplay, let me know. Going for a little hook there, goes for a full combo. They full AP Galley is doing a lot of damage, and he probably has to ult now. Gets in for the ult, jumps back, gets the kill onto the Pyke because the Pyke doesn't regen up fast enough, and he's quickly healing up a tiny bit in the jungle department. And his team is making it very difficult for him to play. Like, he's having to do everything on his own, and then they still randomly die. At least now, he knows that the Fiddlesticks doesn't have ult, which will allow him to play completely different. But he has to be really, really careful about the Lucian. If he gets CC'd in any scenario, be it silence or feared, the Lucian might just instantly kill him because the Lucian is so fed. Oh, Zed without a blue buff feels so bad. Ooh, there's a yellow card and Yoya coming around the corner. Ezreal comes in, misses. And they're going to contest the next dragon. Also, items such as Edge of Night are also so underrated items. They provide you with health and a spell shield, which is in itself also health value, which you can't really put a number on because it really depends on the enemy spells. Collects the dragon, but will give his life for this. He can't even swap to teleport right now, which makes it very, very scary because the enemy might threaten Baron here as it spawns. Because the Lucian is very fed, they have tanks, and they're all going for Baron like that right now. They're all just instantly rotating up there. And it will be a 12-minute Baron, and a 12-minute Baron is super weak. But coming back to the idea which I talked about earlier, right? Like I said, the first Baron feels very weird and it's very difficult to end games. Like 12-minute Baron will at most net you an inhibitor. Like most of the time, right? And the issue is, you will not end on this 12-minute Baron push. So you'll have to wait for another Baron, but then this next Baron will already be at a time where Nexus Shield is disabled, which will then allow you to finish the game. So the incentive to take this at 12 minutes feels so bad in comparison. Because this at most nets you an inhibitor, which then makes you lose gold because the waves are pushing into the enemy team. And you can't really end because of the Nexus Shield at this point, and you have to wait for another Baron. So you have to wait so long. So theoretically, do you even want to take inhibitors with the first Baron at 12 minutes? Do you really want to? It's really a difference maker. Goes in for a quick combo, but the Fiddlesticks reacts fast enough and flashes away, but he can't escape the death mark of Zed. Also, slows in WildRift do stack. So if you have Serilda's Grudge and a slow from your third ability, Shadow Slash, you will slow them twice, but with a factor. Like, if both would be 30% slow, then one slow would be only 0.3 times its normal potency. I think it's 0.3. Maybe 0.24, maybe 0.25, but I think it's 0.3. And yeah, at least they have the chance to gain Mountain Soul. Nice little combo onto the Pike, instantly taking care of him. 25 seconds cooldown left. Nice ultimate by... Oh, the Fiddlesticks now ults into the backline, but he doesn't have enough damage. Gets exhausted, I believe, if I read correctly. But now the enemy team is pushing multiple ways at the same time to try and mitigate this. And your question about Aurelia, why are you not seeing more Aurelia? Aurelia is very difficult to play. Let's say you have a sequence of 5 events, and a mistake in either could get you killed. And you need to succeed in all 5 to have high impact. So what about a champion that does something similar, but requires one thing only? And if you look at higher levels of play and people being able to respect you and being able to put you down or draft certain champions into you, reliably, which is the key word, reliably achieving this here for the payoff of 1, whereas you can have the same payoff here for 1, or maybe a slightly weaker payoff for like 0.9 or something, then why should you go for the more difficult thing? Aurelia is crazy, but she requires a lot of mechanical prowess to be played properly. Because again, you can easily get a kill, but you won't carry. Going for a quick little combo here, gets an instant kill. Oh, ooh, nice flash! The Lucian survived because of, I think, stasis. But yeah, very nicely done here. Very fortunate to avoid the certain death by the death from below by Pike. Will they get the dragon? Oh, he got the dragon, he got the soul! Look at this Giga Chat, but the issue is, yes, he got the soul, but will enough people survive to maybe just instantly rush Nasher? We see the death time, we have like 13, 14. They might push for this, but this will all I don't even think they will get this because 2 people are respawning. And I can't do Nasher. But now, like, look, the Nasher is available. Look at the time. If they take this and they'll push, if they get an inhibitor, there will be no Nexus shield, and then they just end the game. It's so frustrating. And like the same story goes for many champions in WildRift. It's just, if they require too much effort and are not consistent, you just don't play them in a competitive environment too many times. And any news about Vex 190? I think he is playing Honor of Kings. At least a little bit on the side. Nice kill on the Pike, picking up the kill, 25 seconds cooldown left on the ultimate. The Fiddlesticks was spotted above, so they know where he is. If that is the real one, he instantly dies. With Fiddlesticks dead, they now get an easy Nasher pickup. Galio ults in, he just escapes certain CC with this play, but there's 2 mini waves coming in a very bad spot. Luckily, the enemy isn't in a position to do anything about this, so the worst thing that could possibly happen here is probably just some damage to the tower, but this is something you have to keep in mind. The later we go into the game, the more scary will these waves become. Because there'll be more and more cannon minions, and they barely take any damage from towers, and they just demolish towers. Face checking again, look, there was no point of face checking this already without the backup being there. Because the enemy jungle wasn't alive, and you can get control or vision on this earlier, or at least over a safe space that you don't need to face check. Because if you're the tank and you go in, you want to at least create space. Oh, another nice hit on that one. Nearly dies. Maybe dies to Death Stance if he has it. But yeah, if you're a tank and you go in, like, you just face check these things, you want damage dealers close to you, multiple, that just trade your life. Because you don't want to just die for fun, because there was no reason to. There was no chance the enemy gets Elder. Instantly pops the pike, just disappears. Now the Aatrox pops the ultimate. He seems very tanky. He just doesn't really have damage items. He popped ult and only has 199 AD. That's very confusing. And now this Elder will be just freely taken. It's similar to this kind of stuff. You can think of this as me, like, you see them play, and I'm breaking down what they're doing, giving some thoughts as to why they're doing it, and trying to make it a tiny bit entertaining. And personally, have you guys encountered any of weird tank Aatroxes? Look at him, he's getting dizzy, he's just jumping back and forth. And this game takes so long because he's like the only one really playing it. And he even changed to GA because at this point he has to go in for a proactive play, and because he wants to come back again, like if he swaps back, he wants to at least have another life. But the question is, like, if you have a lot of HP already, why not just go for Starrick's Gauge? Instantly pops the Zhonya's on the enemy fiddle, goes in for a quick little play again, and finishes the fiddle with the power of Elder. But in so many instances, having GA doesn't really do anything for you. Because if you die, who's gonna make sure that you spawn again, like that you spawn safely, and who says that you just don't die instantly again after? Starrick's, on the other hand, provides you with insane AD values on level 15, a massive shield if you have other HP items. So I don't really necessarily see the reason for many champions to actually have Guardian Angel. I think E upgrade as fast as possible after your first ability. Because the width and just overall range is so powerful, I think. Like, also, the pike has an ability that allows him to go stealth, and then he can use his ability to walk to brushes, and then if he's close enough, if this little circle here then shows this, like, hey, don't face check because somebody's in there, then you can just survive. But again, it's like these little details that people just refuse to. Ooh, he missed the smite because he had the Baron damage debuff. So the Ezreal picked it up. This could have gone wrong if the stars align in a bad way. But there's just so much damage involved. If he touches anyone on the enemy team, that, like, Aatrox has a Heartsteel and, like, I think Titanic, if I saw this correctly, he's just a punching bag at this point. Like, it takes so much longer for him to be an actual driving force in the game. Nice ultimate spotting the Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks has to ult away to survive. Instantly gets popped, only 150 gold, doing nothing here. And now it's just a matter of time until this game ends, because now they go in from multiple sides. His team is playing ARAM as per usual, you know, it's typical in this game, and he's just going for the side lane, so he gets like a double payoff. Because his teammate is going for the mid lane stuff, and he just goes for the side lane, because there's nothing to lose, there's only to gain, and that way this game will be ending. It's going in for a little bit of extra damage, goes in for the style points. Maybe it gets another ult onto the... Ooh, he just swaps back and instantly finishes the game. So, as per usual, check out the description below. I always link the videos to the channels. Sub to the channels, make sure to give them some love. I think he shows the build at the end and the stats again. And WildRift in general isn't only damage, it's also utility. Like, you want to have the biggest impact possible in the most reliable fashion. If you just multi-stun people, this is most likely going to be a little bit better than dealing 10% more damage on one spell. Going for all the runes, and with that we're at the end of the video. Okay, thank you all for watching, be it on the stream or in the game, or well, or in a video. We'll see each other for more streams soon. I have some work left to do and I'm tired as hell, so excuse me for leaving a little bit early. I wish you a nice evening, morning, midday, whatever day it is, and we'll see each other very soon again. And if you find anything about Shen, and I go live next time or you're in Discord, just send it to me and I'll take a look at it. See you and catch you next time.